Let's talk about these attacks in Saudi Arabia against the oil facilities and their consequences. And let's talk about who is culpable. First of all, let's set the scene and examine the situation. I mean, arguably something around 10 drones might have been used. There are different opinions about this. Arguably, some turbofan cruise missiles were also used. Different opinions about this as well. Now, the culprits, the potential culprits. You have quite a pack, don't you? You could imagine that it was the Iranians, as most of the world does. You could suggest that it was Iraqis, Iraqi PMUs, factions, paramilitary units of some kind. And there are those that have been saying that. You could imagine it was the Houthis, and the Houthis have been saying it was them, and saying it very clearly. You could also, if you were really getting into conspiracy theories, suppose that it might have been the Israelis. So these are some of the people that might have acted. Now then, who's guilty? It's a difficult issue, isn't it? It's a difficult issue, but let's just look at the situation again a little more clearly and with as clear a head as we can. The Houthis claim they did it. Well, could they have done it? Yes, as it happens. They can't launch turbofan cruise missiles. They're difficult to launch. Houthis have been very, very, very good at doing this kind of thing. In the past, in May, there were attacks, as you know, on 2 pumping stations in Saudi Arabia. They've been very good at modifying missiles. There are all sorts of missiles, of course, left behind by various forces in Yemen. And they've done a great job at tweaking cruise missiles. Of course, they're difficult to launch if they're turbofan, but you can modify them, and it's not beyond the ingenuity of the Houthis. They are good people, so that's a possibility. Okay, so and what about drones? Houthis having drones? Come on, it's quite possible. You only have to. I mean, if the Iranians, for example, wanted to supply the Houthis with their drones, and then the Houthis wanted to use them, then all you got to do is have a ship in the Indian Ocean somewhere, and you just get your drone and off you go. It can fly its way to Yemen. Then the Houthis pick it up and off they go, and they've got a state-of-the-art drone. It's not difficult to supply Houthis with drones. Believe you me, it's one of the few weapons you can get in very easily indeed. There aren't many, but that's what, with a blockade, of course, is in place, but that is one of the ones that can easily bypass the blockade. So Houthis are an option, and the Iranians, interesting, obviously they have every reason to want to take action, but they have denied it, and they have denied being culpable at the kind of level where they generally don't lie. I know that there is this thing in Shia Islam, you can lie if it's for the good of the state, but the people concerned I'm talking about are people who are very concerned to be honest, and they have said they are not culpable. That does not mean that they do not know about it. Does not mean that they do not know about it, do not endorse it, but what they're saying is that they did not act themselves, which is interesting. Just interesting. Just put it in your pipe and smoke it for a moment. Let's just look at the other possible actors. Iraqis have been saying they did it, not publicly, but privately. You're getting word from various people at the PMU, the Haish al-Shabi level, that, we did it. Now, what is this, blagging themselves up as the culprits? Curious. I mean, the Houthis are supposed to have done it. Iraqi links with the Houthis are much stronger now. There are talks going on at the moment. I happen to know of one set of talks going on between the Iraqis and the Houthis at present. So Iraqis have been helping in a way they had not been helping in the past. Is it possible? Iraqis certainly miffed at what they regard as the Saudi-Israeli alliance. Remember that the Israelis, using drones or missiles, I'm not too up to speed on this, but one way or another, they took out some Iraqi PMU unit base in right in Baghdad the other day. The Israelis did. I mean, very cheeky. Why did they do that? Because the paramilitary unit concerned had long-range missiles, and they did not want them to have long-range missiles because they are frightened of groups like militia having long-range missiles. So the Iraqis are resentful of that, and there have been a lot of Israeli drone attacks, by the way, on PMUs, on militia units in Iraq. So they are resentful of that, and they do blame Saudi up to a point as Israel's ally in the region. So that's an issue, as is the Israelis. Come on, I mean, they have reason to do this, obviously, because they want Iran to be perceived as the bad boy. So, and you remember that one drone was sighted way off course over Kuwait, but the implication being that that does seem to indicate, doesn't it, that the missiles came in, or drones came in from Iran, but it could also be a good ruse. So this is interesting if you're a conspiracy theorist. So there are a lot of possible actors who could have done this. I mean, who did? That's the question, isn't it? Who did? I'm going to answer that question for you, and I'm going to do it in just a moment. Pause for a second.